Hey my friends, what's going on? It's Ultimus, and we have more arenas for you, this time featuring my dog scratching at my chair trying to get my attention. First game is up with a Windwalker Monk versus a Beastmastery Hunter and Restoration Druid. Now, I would like to take a moment to point out my awesome transmog. Did you guys notice my hat? My wonderful hat. You can call me Admiral from now on if you would, please. That would be most appreciated. Jokes aside, I understand that Windwalker Monks and Arms Warriors don't exactly synergize super well together, but it was literally last minute before reset and I wanted to cap, so I was taking what I could get. Wanting to kind of chill back here a little bit, didn't want to waste my charge. I'm really liking that playstyle. Got caught by that trap, which wasn't too big of a deal. I was cool with that. We ate it early. It's weird placement there, though, I'm not going to lie. Popped my fear there early, trying to get the Hunter away. Druid is playing the pillar game pretty hard here, sitting in bear form, like you'll see most Druids play. Threw the Karma up on him by my Monk friend. Caught in a ton of traps there in that CC, which is not looking good for me, that's for sure. Still at a decent amount of health. Druid's taking a lot of damage over there in the corner. I'm going to leap over here and start just going to town on him. I accidentally broke my Monk's sap there, which is unfortunate. The downside to playing without voice communications when you're just YOLOing it up. Just pretty much trying to sit on the Druid as best as possible, sitting defensive stance, trying to keep myself from dying because I know that the Hunter is going to start laying into me here real quickly. Trying to keep the snare up, the hamstring up on the Druid so he doesn't move as fast as he really wants to. I'm going to switch over to the Hunter here in a second because I'm just noticing that the Hunter is putting way too much damage on me. Biggest mistake in the entire game was overlapping CC. Again, there's no way I could have known because we both were just trying to CC the Hunter and we weren't voice communicating, so there's all that is to that, unfortunately. That's the downside to YOLOing it. Hunter pops deterrence, and I'm noticing that the Druid is getting really, really low, so I'm going to leap over there and snap that execute. It's not going to do enough, and for whatever reason, I was trying to retarget onto the pet. The pet was not being targeted, and so I didn't get my victory rush off, therefore I died, unfortunately. Luckily, we were able to still pull the wind off, and the reason I'm showing you guys this match is just to also kind of, I guess, show what not to do as far as overlapping CC, but also I really like watching Monks play. I'm not going to lie. Monks are probably one of my favorite class to just watch play. I've never really geared mine up, never gotten really good at mine. I've enjoyed the little bit I have played on my Windwalker Monk, but overall I just enjoy watching Monks play. Whether it's Mistweavers, Windwalkers, whatever it is, I just like their playstyle. I think they're really, really cool. This time around up against a Feral Druid Frost Death Knight. Now you'll notice I have a different partner here during this arena match. That's because unfortunately after 3 losses the Monk decided I wasn't worth his time. So whatever. Found a new partner and I absolutely love playing with Ferals. Aside from the fact that they do a butt ton of damage, they actually synergize fairly well with Arms Warriors and even better with Fury Warriors. So I'm feeling fairly confident going up against the Death Knight and the Feral, even though we are a little bit outmatched, though they cannot compete with our cleave pressure, which again, they were dumb enough to stay stacked up, which I feel like in a melee fight, even though the single target pressure of the Druid and the Frost Death Knight definitely outweigh that of the Feral Druid and myself, the Arms Warrior, because we're having to stack up on each other, we win by default because I'm hitting both targets at the same time, which is excellent. Now, if they would have peeled us off and pulled us apart and got the 1v1 on each of us, I think that would have been a very, very different game, simply because Arms Warriors really can't compete with Death Knights or Feral Druids. But luckily, in our case, they were silly enough to try to fight us on top of each other, which I think in the end really handed us the game before the match even really started. So things like that are the things I like to look out for, and I like to pay attention to that kind of stuff. This time up against an Arms Warrior or Discipline Priest. By default, this is a rather tricky combo just because of how strong priests and warriors are together. So we have the priest or the warrior charging in, I'm sorry. I've still saved my charge, which again, as always, is my big game plan. Massive crits going on to this priest here. Wanted to keep all that. Save that interrupt. Got the pummel on that heal there. Why can't I think of the name? Penance. Which I feel like anytime I see Penance being casted, I just feel like that's a free pummel for me. Which I feel bad for Priest, I'm not going to lie. Priest again is taking a ton of damage. Still got my charge in here. Able to get that Mortal Strike goes off. We're getting those gnarly cleave pressure going in the execute range, and that's going to be it. Don't get the victory rush, which is okay because I'm still sitting pretty on a lot of health. Warrior popped his Blade Storm, which is pretty easy to evade, thankfully. He's chasing my Feral Druid, which allows me to sneak up behind him, get the Stormbolt, and my Druid's literally healing himself up and letting me get the 1v1. Which is always kind of fun. It's always fun, like in an arena, to test my abilities against another warrior. Maybe it's silly, and it's probably a total ego thing, but part of me wants to feel like I'm at least a decent player, so I appreciate the 1v1s. Then we're going to sweep in here at the end and wrap up the victory. But I hope you enjoyed these matches, guys. Thank you so much for watching. As always, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe if you haven't done so already. And I'll catch you next time.